2004 under Des Hasler
Mhm.
for Manly,
Mm.
who's now returning to the Titans next year as coach for them. Uh, what was Des like as a coach, and do you think he'll have an impact at the Gold Coast next year?
Oh, 100%. 100. Like it's sad. It's sad how it panned out for the coach that just left. What's his name? I
Justin
don't really.
Justin Holbrook?
Holbrook. Very, very sad. A very good, honest person by the looks of things, and a great coach, a young coach. But direction, I don't know. The Titans want to head is probably a little bit more developed in an older head coach, and but I don't know how they do look at it. But with Desi on board, I believe you know it will work because I think they're a young pack.
Yeah.
I believe they're a young pack, and also they just need a little bit. They're a little bit mature and raw. I think if you can get them, if you can get them connecting right, I reckon they got the right mixture. It's just what they're going to do with Jaden Campbell. I do not understand. I do not know why, because they've got some great players there. AJ Brimson. I don't know, too many injuries. I find injury prone. I find, but I think he could be a good leader, good role model for Jaden. I find, but with Desi coming on board, it's going to be a little bit teacher mentality, but the old school.
Yeah.
If we're fit, we can play football.
Yeah. Okay.
Like Desi's the old school. Desi doesn't fade away from the old mentality of winning football. Doesn't do it like I'm saying, like the old school is doing the little things right, like
The one
practicing
percenters.
the little things right in football. Like Eddie Jones says the other day, you can tackle, you can run. I'll tell you what, these days footballers cannot pass for football. First graders cannot pass the football.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, we've got to go back to just the little fundamentals of football instead of worrying about the big, solid. Well, playing with brains, but I can't see it. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. No.
just
Well. Yeah. No, that makes sense.
so that's why I got my own business, Troy.
Okay. Yeah.
It's
Tell us about that one.
yeah, I'll tell you about my own business. It's raw sportsmanship.
Okay.
It's my own, and Raws. I call it Raws because it's Andrew Walker style, of sportsmanship. Because it's what I do. I do tech. I do speed ant. Babe, your phone. Sorry, Troy.
You're
Phone.
good. All good. All good.
Yeah. No, I do some I do some video analyzing and speed data and
Okay.
one-on-one basis. You know what I mean? On whatever we need to work on. Like I just come in and just fine tune them because that's my business. So if anyone out there wants to
Yeah.
wants
Where can they
oh,
find you
well, we'll
or
look on
find
my
your biz?
we'll look at my Facebook. It's called Raw Sportsmanship. You'll see me at the front, probably trying to sidestep a Fijian, I think it is. So so I got that happening, Troy. So if you want to give that a bit of a shout out, I'd
Will
appreciate
do.
it because
Will do.
I believe in the game. If you do the one percenters, I believe it works, and I'd like to see if you can try Andrew Walker style, and because I believe it helped me. It actually helped me in life. So that's how I see it, Troy. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure plenty of people, once they find out about it, would love to learn from yourself. Being such a gifted rugby league and rugby union player, so I'm sure they'd want to learn from yourself.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yes,
so we'll put that up for sure.
yeah,
Put
yeah.
that up for sure. We'll give that a shout out as well. Now, unfortunately, at the end of your rugby league career, there was a recreational drug charge, or suspension, I should say. Is that a no doubt is that a regret in your career?
No, not really. Not really. It's a life lesson.
Okay, yeah,
Like it's a life. Like I can, I could probably say that now, but back then I probably couldn't. You know what I mean? So now it's a life lesson. Like I've learned from it. The big thing from I find now, you cannot cheat any system. You know what I mean? Like I waited till the last game to try to cheat the system. You know what I mean? Like you just don't do that. Like I could have done it right through the whole year. So people always been saying that I've been a person. I said I haven't. I said I tried it for one time, and wow, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It done its job, and I done it for one game. So unfortunately, I tried to cheat the system. I'm glad it didn't. You know, it didn't work out the way I did want it to work. You know, well, I'm glad it worked out this way because I wouldn't have found out who I am and what I am in life. And plus, the system back then, right now, like they never had it. I went to the men of league and tried to give back. That was
Okay.
the big thing for me. And Michael Butner was running it.
Oh yeah,
And,
Buttes.
and Michael Butner come away with me on the '96 tour.
Yeah, that's right. He's one and only test.
That's right. He played 5'8" before me, and I went, wow. You know what I mean? And I had a stellar year at fullback, you know. So yeah, but we had Brasher at the back. So yeah, so I couldn't argue there. You know what I mean?
Nah.
I'm second again. So that's why I keep trying harder to be number one. So yeah, so I'm really glad it happened. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it teaches me a lesson. It teaches my kids a lesson, and
Yeah.
at the same time, this is where the protocols and and everything in rugby league right now should like look after Indigenous players. You know what I mean? They say they're the best players in the world, but they won't look after them. Like I'm pretty sure Dean Witters and everything else has got something in plan for that, and with Natrell, you know, happening, everything going on now. Like I really do hope that we do look after our players.
Yeah.
Like Kalen Ponga, like tell me, like you're telling me about a Kalen Ponga instance, like the two go in the toilet. Well, you know, it's I don't know, he's helping his mate. I don't know, but he walked out okay. You know what I mean? Like he looked pretty okay to me. So I don't know. I don't know why the trail cops it so much. You know what I mean? Because you know I do know this is a a politics country, but
Hmm.
at the same token, we've got to look after our players because I tell you what, a life lesson is a life lesson, and a person like myself can help Natrell, or not so much Natrell what trouble he's in. It's just how to direction him because he's sliding in a landslide right now at the moment. You know what I mean? But I'm really upset about these managers not coming in to take half the grunt of this because they take this kid from somebody else, you know, a different manager, you know, and this kid and Matty Rose is not looking after him. Matty Rose is looking after number one category who's making the money. You know what I mean? It's not about money at the end of the day. It's about his well being.
Yeah.
Like it's about anybody's well being. Like at the end of my stint, all I had is my wife and my family to 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 trust
Yeah.
and believe.
Yeah.
And we kept doing it. Like we kept doing it. That's why I moved to France and tried to start a new career over there in rugby. I was over there, signed a 4-year deal. I was over there for 1 year and come back with Eddie Jones, like at the Reds, and that's why I got to love and live in this beautiful Queensland warm weather. You know what I mean? For
Would
the last 12 years.
Would you ever
So
say? Would you have ever thought that you'd be living in Queensland?
no, but I've always dreamed it because
Okay.
I always dreamed it because I was always a young kid going, well, I know where you're heading, but and they always told me arthritis, so that sort of clicked you know. Oh well, warmer weather might help that a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
True. True. How do you go state of origin time though? Being
I
a
tell
New South Welshman.
I tell you what, it's very painful. It is very painful. It is, but I'm a blue through and through.
Yeah.
I would, you know, I come close, and I would love to have it, but I tell you what, just the raw passion our Queensland play. You know what I mean? Like I think our panel need to change up. Like Freddie's, you know, don't had great times. You know, I just think you know, someone else has got to probably step in, probably Des Asler, or I wouldn't say Craig Bellamy. I don't think he will. I don't know. I really don't know. I really don't know. So, you know, what I
Yeah.
mean, just give someone else, you know, a fresh start. And I think you know the Blues might just click. You know what I mean? And I believe we said from years ago well, Freddie said we're going to go with performance. Let's stick with performance.
That's right.
Everyone
That's
plays a
right.
role. Everyone plays a role on the field. You know what I mean? Like Freddie and Joey should know this. They taught me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I learned off them. Like I've heard it from them. You know what I mean? But I showed them how to do it properly. You know, on the field. Like I sort of made Freddie a little bit when I was there. Yeah.
What?
In my eyes, I have. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What was it like playing against Anthony Mundine? Well, he would have been at St George as well with you, wouldn't he? In the early
Well,
90s there.
well, believe it or not, like I sort of trained Chop and sort of know how he played and how he developed coming up because
Okay.
I sort of helped him along that generation when he first come because I was playing reserve grade at Dragons and he come the
Yeah.
under 19s, under 23s. Like we both, like our first ever game was under 23s at playing under Perry Haddock.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah,
old St George halfback. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So we ended up playing half and 5'8", and I went, wow, what a talent. And believe it or not, it was unfair because we done the pre-season and I've never seen a person that don't sweat pre-season.
Yeah.
It's unfair. It was unfair. And so he had that, but I had to teach him his fundamentals of football. And I think he developed, the whole lot of us developed because we were young and raw. We developed with Ricky Walford, Jeff Hardy.
Jeff Hardy. Yeah. Ricky. Yeah.
We had a corner of the Koori corner,
Okay. Yeah.
and there was 12 of us. Yeah, so that was good. That was a really good era. You know what I mean, to play at the Dragons because we played with some great players because that year actually like we got developed. You know, we got developed playing underneath Brian Smith. It got them to the grand final that year and the year after.
That's
So
right. Yeah.
so we had some great players and got some great experience. Old mix in that. Like I believe St George to me will always be my club. They always will be, but I'll never ever call them St George Illawarra.
Yeah.
Never ever, because I come from the Illawarra.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. Do you see yourself as a Rooster, but a Roosters man? Because you played majority of your career there. Is that?
Look, I'm a Rooster fan. I am a Rooster, and
Yeah.
so because I believe they gave me my opportunity, and with, thanks to Gus, and I had the likes of playing some really good football with Adrian Lamb, Brad Fittler, um, Luke Ricketson, and Dave Barnhill, Scotty Gourlay, and up front Jason Lowry, Terry Hermanson. You know what I mean? And Shawnee Garley. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? We had some great players, some great old players, and I played with Salvatore. Like that was a highlight for me too. Played with Salvatore. He was one of the greats of the Roosters.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
because my what really got me over the line for the Roosters was a player called Bruce Stewart. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
Uncle Bruce. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
mate, he's my uncle.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's what got me over the line.
Ah, nice, nice. We'll do some common, of what I call common league questions, but you can throw rugby union answers into this if you want to as well. Um, do you have a favourite game that you played in either rugby league or rugby union that you thought, oh, geez, I really love this game, like it really stood out for you?
Um, believe it or not, my first two games in first grade for playing, like I've started off in 16, at 16 at rugby union. I went to rugby union, I played the likes with Lloyd Walker, Scotty Barker, who was a Peter Jorgensen, who was on the wing, Aki, Afura, Aki, we call him, Afura, he was a Fijian, a great winger, played for Australia. And we also Campo at the back. So I had the
Yeah,
likes
wow.
getting skilled up before I come to league, and so that's how that sort of ventured out. Like and my career was sort of, I don't know, sort of set in platform for me. Like I didn't know it at the time because I had the likes of playing with some great players. Like and I switched over to rugby league, in '95, and coming in '95, like we got the two grand finals. You know what I mean? What better than to be skilled up in rugby league? Like I already
Yeah,
had talent. but how do I find time management in a game, or how do how injuries come by and all that, that other stuff, the tough stuff, the 1%ers I find.
Yeah.
So that's how it sort of built me into my whole career of playing, because and I went back to rugby union, then I lived out of a diary, like, you know what I mean? I was scheduled. I was
Okay.
scheduled
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
week what I'm doing and where I'm going. It was like rugby league. Like, I've done it for 18 years of my life. And that's why we need myself, like a person that's been through that trade, to help these kids, excel. So that's how that ever come by playing rugby union, rugby league.
You have a favourite try that you scored throughout your career?
Look, to be honest, I have many tries, and it's hard to pick, but there is one I have really went, wow, that has blown me away. Watched it.
Okay.
I played in a Brumbies game. It was against Waikato.
Oh, yeah.
Roger Randall was the fastest in rugby union. He kept telling me. He kept, because there was a little bit of a banter the whole
Yeah.
week, and I was young, naive, cheeky, so I sort of brought it on a bit. I said it in the media. Sort of fun. So that's how the banter sort of started. And okay, thank you, Roger. I love you. Good mate of mine still. We still talk. And I believe he was the fastest. So I gave him an opportunity of 5 meters open space. And
Okay.
I gave it to him. So I said, I was talking to him as I was going. I said, Roger, is that what you got? Please. So I tackled him. He threw the ball in. Joe Roth picked it up. I tackled him and I was lying on the ground. I went, get up, Andrew, get up. Joe still got it. So I ended up getting it. Joe just stepped a few players, and I ran I think it was on the outside of the field, and I was talking to him, and Roffy, and I realised, shit, get in the field. So he popped the ball underneath me. I come in underneath him and stepped the bloke and scored a try underneath the post. And I went, wow, how did I bloody do that?
Yeah,
I
wow.
was blown away. Then I went, cheeky, naive. I went, sorry, Rog, but thank you. And that's one of the best tries I've ever scored.
Ah, nice one.
Because there was a little bit of banter involved, and on the field, like, we're mates at the end of the day, but it was
Yeah,
just a little bit extra.
you got one over him.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. Ah, nice. I'll have to try and see if it's YouTube or something like that
It
and
is. It
look
is.
it up.
It
It
is.
is. I'll have to, after this, check it out for sure. Is there a favourite ground that you used to love playing at?
To be honest, there was only one ever game all round I really, really loved in my life. That was a charity shield.
Okay, yeah,
Charity shield. Because my first ever game, like, I was probably 18. What was I? No, 17, sorry. I just turned 17, turning 18, coming into it. My first year of playing charity shield football. And I was blown away by the crowd. Like, I went, wow. It was like one of them anthem games.
yeah,
You know what I mean? I went, what? This is a charity shield.
yeah. That's it. Well, us
Wow.
as fans, we all know when the Charity Shield's on, that rugby
I
league
knew
is starting.
I knew the two clubs was that passionate because so many grand finals, the history. I knew the history of the two clubs. Like, and wow, I didn't know the passionate of the people. So that's why I always say, Troy, I always get back to the people, because I say, who would we be without them?
Yeah.
That's how I
Okay.
looked
Yeah.
at footy.
Nice.
That's how I looked at footy. I said, who would they be? Who would we be if we didn't have them?
That's it.
Get that kangaroo, my girls and boys. Sorry. Yeah. So that's how that become off. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. No, rugby league would be nothing without the fans. That's for sure.
100%.
That's for sure. Who was your hardest player to tackle?
To be honest, Mal Meninga.
Yeah. Don't blame me.
I,
His big
I
thighs.
actually 90. What was it? 93. Started off first ever Started the year, went well. 23 years of age, young, bright, ready to rock and roll, at home, close to Narrabommet area,
Yeah.
and lasted 12 minutes, right? It was a bit fresh, cold, very cold. So we ended up kicking off. Mal Meninga was giving it to me, young pup, and I got too a little bit over aggressive and took it out on the Steve Stone, halfback.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so, but I ran into Mal's knee and it hurt.
Oof.
That really,
Ouch.
really did hurt on a cold night down there. So I went, oh, I better not tackle there no more. So I was saying, Scotty Goulet, help me out.
Yeah.
And he did. And, so I took aggression out. I took a little bit of aggression out on, Steve Stone.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
12 minutes. This is my debut. My over Phil Blake, mind you. Phil Blake sitting on the sideline. And I went, wow, what a start. 12 minutes I lasted. So I'd have to say Mal Meninga.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure plenty of other players would have said that for sure. Do you keep in touch with many of your other former teammates?
There's only two people I really keep in touch with, and that's Matty Singh
Oh yeah.
and Robbie Miles played at the Roosters with us on the wing.
Oh
Robbie,
yeah. On the wing. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So they're the only two I keep in touch with, really. Like we touch bases now and then and see how family's going and how our reality is. So yeah, they're the only two. Two
Oh,
great
nice.
brothers, really
Have you
are.
ever thought of when the Roosters or the Dragons have or probably not the Dragons, there's the Georgia Illawarra Dragons, but the Roosters when they have like an old boys' day in
Well, I got
getting.
invited actually to the last game where the Dragons playing, to the Newcastle at home at Cogra. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Well, I call it Cogra. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I call it Cocker as well. I call it
So
Brookvale as
Jubilee
Brookvale.
Jubilee Stadium, I used to call it. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm thinking about going down because they sent me one for a reunion for the last game because it might be interesting because I might kill two birds with one stone too. You know what I mean? I might get to see the Roosters and the Rabbits. So I don't
Oh
know if they're
yeah.
playing the same day. So I'm looking at that, and you know what I mean. Like I've always wanted to be part of a great club, which and I didn't want them to see the Malcolmites, but what it unfortunately it did. So, but I'll probably end up will just connecting that way with the St George lads.
Well, I'm just having a look at the draw for the last round, and the Roosters Rabbitohs game's on the Friday night at 8 o'clock. And the Dragons Knights game's on the Saturday at 7:30. So
What date was that, Troy? That was 20.
that's so the Roosters Rabbitohs game is the 1st of September.
That's right. Yeah, it is. Yes.
Yeah, so the Dragons Knights game will be the
Second.
2nd of September. So yeah, they don't clash, so you might be able to get to both.
Yeah, I probably will, mate. So no, it'll be good just touching base, with both great clubs and great players that were there. I just really hope the really old boys show up. You know what I mean? Like Graham Bradley's Penguin. You know
Oh
what I mean?
yeah.
Michael Beattie, and Ricky Walford, and what the likes of Michael Potter is great. The radar, I call him, Michael Potter.
Okay, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, he's certainly done well coaching these days as well.
and Jason Donnelly, he's back in New Zealand. Like he was a real good mate of mine. So back then, and it'd be great to see Ian here and all them, the old
Oh,
Chookies.
Chook
Yeah, old Chookie.
had
Yeah,
a year at Parramatta, I think.
yeah, he did. Yes, he certainly did. Yeah, he got his through a couple of games with that boot of his.
Yeah, he had one of the most unusual kicking styles, I think,
But I tell
goal
you
kicking
what,
style, but it
a
worked.
lot of us said that at school, at the Dragons. You know what I mean? So, but he really popped up. And he's really competitive and reliable sort of goal kicker back then. Like, and actually could finish tries. So, he was a great player. So I couldn't say much about your old mate Paul Carriage, which I ran into up in Queensland. Yeah. So,
Yeah, yeah. No, I had him on the podcast a few years ago now.
but
Interesting
but
chat.
but but I'm glad a great person what he does at the jails up here at Waco, like Paul
Okay.
Carey, does a really great job with the boys up here. You know what I mean? And it's just unfortunately he's going to get picked on from that. You know what I mean? But a great person at the same time.
Yeah, no, that's it. That's it. Just a quick one before we wrap things up there with the set of six. Did you wear the torpedoes back in the day at the Dragons?
To believe it or not, there was a bloke that came over, Dave Aldridge, I think he was. Uh, Brian brought him over, an English coach. He was there. Well, I didn't really know him back then, but I found it. I found out what he does, and he actually taught Johnny Wilkinson and how to kick and everything else. And so, and I went, oh wow, this kid. I was kicking just a torpedo a few times, and he went, wow, you can kick a torpedo, but can you can you can you can you put it in the air? And I went, what do you mean? I said, well, can you point the ball up in the air and kick it? And I went, I'll give it a go. So I put a spiral up, and he's going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's gone, wow. I went, what do you mean? I didn't know nothing about kicking. I
Yeah,
just knew
just
how
did
to
it.
time the ball. I just knew how to time a ball. And once he went, here, son, think of a ball like earth, and you've got a crust inside of it, and you got that burning crust, that core. If you hit that every time, you'll hit the sweet spot. And I didn't really think about think about football like that,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
that was the art of football, and that's the way my life is. Like thinking, like I socialise and analyse everything really down to a skill, and so that's how I become a really good kicker. Because I played first grade one time, well a few times, and I played against Sharks, and it was a local derby, and believe it or not, there was a bloke called Sean Watson at the back. He was a New Zealand international,
yeah, yeah.
and I was young, naive, whatever. And I went, yeah, who's he? I went like that, and he gone, gee, you're cheeky. And I went, but Jeff Harding goes, but I reckon you can't make him drop one. And I went, oh really? And I said, I'll give it a go. I'll give it a go because Jeff Hardy put a bet on line to me. Whereas bet you $20 for it. I bet, well, they called me Unky back then.
Yeah.
They called me Unk because I didn't know many players, names. So I respected. I was young, so I called him Unk.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
nickname Unk. So I ended up doing that, and Jeff, and it was a night game, Friday night game, and geez, I had a blind. I scored the first try. You know what I mean? I'm on here. So I actually hit the ball that sweet. I counted 7 seconds, and Peter Sterling's gone, it's gone out of the bloody lights. Oh, Sean Watson didn't know where it was. It bounced. Jeff Hardy grabbed it, or Nathan Brown, one of them, ended up scoring. And I went, holy smoke. Did I hit it? Like, thank to Dave Aldrin, mate. He taught me how to hit a ball because, believe it or not, I actually kicked a football from 69 meters.
Yeah,
That's not
wow.
a word of a lie.
Yeah,
From
wow.
Cogra Oval, there was a little bit of a fair breeze, and I hit this ball, and it went over for a goal kick, and I went, wow. Lucky I was young because I'll tell you what, my hamstrings were bloody flowing off with them.
Yeah, no, well, you were a pretty handy goal kicker as well, throughout your career and scored lots of tries. Well, we'll wrap things up with the what I call the set of six questions, sort of like a bit of a personality sort of questions. Um, favorite holiday destination?
Australia.
Yeah,
To be honest, France.
yeah, okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
nice,
love, I love France.
yeah,
I love
nice,
the south of France. A place called Gaillac, where I used to live. Beautiful, south of France.
nice, nice. Uh, favorite sport outside of say rugby league and rugby union?
I'd have to say, well, they call it football, so soccer.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you catch up with much of the Women's World Cup that was just on at all?
Well, I caught the last two games, to be honest. Like, I caught our game, but I would have loved to go and go to Brisbane for the last game and taste a bit of history. You know what I mean? Because we'll never ever see that again. And to the Matildas, like they held Australia high. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? They've done us really proud. And but yeah, soccer, soccer would be me number one.
nice. Who would be
Well,
the most?
I actually played it before I played rugby league and everything else.
Oh,
I was the
okay,
youngest
yeah.
of 13, so youngest of 13 in my family. I had to follow suit. Didn't want it
Whatever.
because I thought because I sort of thought, well, I like soccer because I like that's how I become really probably I don't know timing with the ball.
Yeah,
Like soccer.
yeah. Nah, true. Who would be the most famous person you'd love to meet, dead or alive?
Ooh. My wife actually asked me that.
Oh, okay,
But to be honest, I would love to get inside Dusty Hoffman's head.
okay, yeah,
I've tried to.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like
Nah,
he's just a great man. But
yeah.
to be honest, it would have been Michael Jordan.
Oh, yeah. Nah. Look, I dead set reckon about 95% of people I interview say Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
They'd love to meet him. So, yeah, nah. Certainly, I was growing up watching the
Yeah,
Chicago Bulls and him.
no, Robbie Williams. I'd love to.
Oh, yeah,
I'd like to sit down with him and just, I reckon I'd have a really, really pleasant night with Robbie Williams.
yeah.
Like sit down with a dinner or and just get to know him. Because there was one person in my life I really got to know when I was playing rugby union. It was Carl Rackerman.
Oh, yeah. Big
We
Carl.
went to
Yeah.
we went out to his farm. You know what I mean? We went out to his farm for pre-season with the Reds. With Eddie. Eddie was coaching the Reds, so we went out there, and me and Damon Entage, and Damon Entage was the backs coach, and I played with him in the under 21s. You know what I mean? Under 21s Australia side, when Jonah Lomu scored 60 something points against us, believe it or not.
Yeah,
Yeah,
wow.
under 21s. Yeah, yeah. So we went out there, and we done our pre-season the fencing and done all his help him out. And it was bloody marvelous. You know what I mean? Like a great team effort. I find and helping a great mate out. And we ended up sitting down, ran a big fire, a few tinnies, and me and Damon M. are going, Warps, ask him the question, ask him the question. And I went, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. And he goes, Warps, just ask him before I do. I went, yeah, righto. And I went, Carl, tell me about Vivian Richards. Tell me about Vivian Richards and and the big the big Joel Garner smokes marijuana. You know what I mean? Told these stories, and we were in awe, Troy. We were
Yeah.
in awe and quite having a good beer. Eddie Jones is sitting there going, "Wow!" And that was a moment I'd like to treasure one more time. Yeah.
Yeah, wow. That's a great story. I'd love to hear that story one day.
I'll tell
Certainly
you
sounds
what,
interesting.
we had some great stories. Believe it or not.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Nah. Well, maybe you've sort of answered the last question that I usually ask, so I'll ask it now.
yeah.
Who's your favorite musician or band to listen to?
Xavier Rush,
Okay. Yeah.
I love him. He's just a soul person and believes in nature, I think, and believes in what he what he's good at, and he goes and achieves it. And he's just a pretty inspiring bloke, like because what he does, not many people would do, and he's a very cultural person. I think
Nice.
going down to
What?
actually watch him. Actually, they're down at
Yeah.
Byron Bay. No,
Okay. Oh,
yeah,
nice. What's your specialty dish in the kitchen or on the barbecue?
I couldn't go past the wife's spaghetti bolognese. There's a little special something in there, and I don't know what it is.
But
Like,
what's your specialty? What can you whip up?
oh, mine. Look, to be honest, that's why I've been married. Like, I cannot cook to save my life. No, no, I do, I do cook up a mean skitty bowl as well. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But look, if I jump in the kitchen, there's too many cooks, so I sort of stay out of it.
Nah, fair enough. I'm not much of a cook myself, so
Yeah,
nah, all
when you've
good.
been married for over 30 years, you sort of go, yeah, all right, you sort of know your place.
Well, funny you say spaghetti bolognese. I found out last night that the Matildas they had that every night, team dinner, spaghetti bolognese before the night before their games. So must be
Well,
a
I don't know. It's just an energy thing, I think. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, believe it or not, but the wife and the family, every time they went to the Brumbies game, they used to go to Hungry Jacks every time. They said, "We better pay. If we don't go to Hungry Jacks, we don't win it." And believe it or not, they were right.
So
There's
then
no
was
doubt about that.
was Hungry Jack's the place to visit after winning, or as a reward,
No,
or
it was a ritual for a winning winning culture, I think. Yeah.
yeah, nice, nice. And the last one, which three former players, either in rugby league or rugby union, wouldn't you want to be stuck on a deserted island with, and why?
Look, David Campese,
Okay, interesting.
it he'd probably end up talking Italian after 20 minutes, staying with me.
He
And
could
I wouldn't,
cook spaghetti bolognese, I reckon.
well, if he could, if we had the pasta, but there'd be no pasta out there. There'd be a lot of fish.
True, true.
And another one, probably, to be honest, no one really. No
Yeah,
other one.
okay.
Because I'm sort of a likable person and everything else, and I can get along with everyone. But just Campo, just we talk about too much politics, I think.
Okay. Yeah, no, fair enough. Fair enough. Well, Andrew Walker, thank you very much for coming on the Paracave podcast today. Look, I really enjoyed the chat. As Gus Gould, Brad Fittler has said, one of the most gifted players, natural gifted players rugby league has seen, and obviously rugby union as well. Um, I hope if you do come down to Sydney, we can maybe catch up and say good day and have a chat. And I really appreciate your time and could probably talk for hours, but time's done. And thank you very much for coming on the Paracave podcast today.
No, thanks for having me, Troy. It was a pleasure, and it was good to talk about some really good questions. You know what I mean, and good yarns. So, and hopefully, your podcast, Parramatta, Carbon, K podcast keeps rolling on, mate.